International Commission of Jurists and other human rights champions are calling on the government to abolish the death penalty, terming it inhuman form of punishment. The independent commission argues all human rights ought to be universally protected. The call comes amid celebrations of the 21st World Day Against Death Penalty. Florence Kasichana has details of the renewed calls.
3 decades after the last execution, the International Commission of Jurists has renewed calls to have the sentence abolished. The jurists are instead pushing for a human rights-based approach in handling persons who were sentenced to death.
We are part of the team that went to the Supreme Court to argue around the Moro Atetu case. We were amicus curiae. Because we are a legal organization, we go to court and challenge laws that we feel are unconstitutional or violate their human rights.
We still have death penalty as one of those, so it doesn't speak well to us among community of nations when we still have this in our statute books.
Among the proposals is to adopt a component for counseling amid concerns a majority of those incarcerated for years suffer from long-term psychological distress and psychosocial trauma.
At the violations of their rights, it is related to sexual and gender-based violence, psychological, physical, emotional, and even as economic as Julie.
They were speaking during the annual commemoration of the World Day Against the Death Penalty. The theme this year was death penalty and irreversible torture. Lobby groups also advocated for counseling services to families whose relatives have been sentenced to death.
And for us, the death penalty actually perpetuates inhumane treatment, cruel treatment, and torture. So that is the particular human right that we are spotlighting. It creates stigma. And if these actually become victims, by the nature of that, my parent is in prison, we know they committed a crime, yes, but have they paid for it? Has the government given them the space to reform? And yes, they have. So the families actually suffer.
As of today, there are 101 convicts on death row, 99 are male and 2 female.
As Kenya joins the world to celebrate the World Day Against Death Penalty, human rights activists are now calling upon the government to abolish the death penalty since it's against human rights. Reporting for Prime Edition, I am Kasichana Masha.